I've seen the future.
Hey everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid. Welcome to the Universal Energy Forecast, or the Oracle Card Forecast for this week, November the 28th. And I really made a very strong prayer, or a communing, if you will. I communed with my higher power spirit and asked for a more universal perspective for everybody on the cards, because I know it's just not, recently we've been talking a lot about the American elections, but you guys are here from all over the world, so I wanted to really give a more egalitarian perspective on the energies affecting everybody. So it's like more of a global weather report and what to do about it. So remember, the cards are prescriptive rather than predictive. So I shuffled these cards really well. And I got 3 cards in the protection position, kind of like it happened last week with the other deck. And it's really interesting, the thread that moves through these 3 protection cards. Guard against being too sure that you know what's best. This is very, very interesting reading this week. So the first card is One Ring Circus in the protection position. So One Ring Circus tells us, when it's in protection, not to enter into any kind of conversation or engage with other people as if you are the know-it-all. So it's really a card of hubris, where you think your way is the only way, when really the real force behind this, and this invitation that this card gives us when it's in protection, is to take your hand across the line and say, tell me your side. So it's really a call to watch it if you think you're the only one that's going to make the world spin on your finger, and also that your ideas are the only good ideas. So it's also about, being more in community and in teamwork, and allowing yourself to explore what other people think. Because we don't always understand the other. We always think that we do, because we project ourselves onto other people and other circumstances, etc. So it's a real good nudge that we, stay engaged with others. The same thing with Into the Unknown in protection. Into the Unknown, when it's in the protection position, also tells us that it's okay not to know. This is uncharted territory, just like my book says. Everybody's in the uncharted right now. The entire planet is in this new cycle that everybody's stepped into now, finally. I think we've been in the cusp of it for a number of years, and now everybody's in it. And nobody really knows the map ahead, because we have to discover it. I talk about this in Uncharted, where we discover the map that we're meant to be following. The map of the soul is something that we're not given in advance in hard copy and 2-dimensional. Those types of maps that have taken us where we are now, they don't apply to where we're going. So don't assume you know the terrain. Be very clear to stay present in the moment, in the here and now, because here and now is where the future is created. And be curious. So this is really an invitation for curiosity. And again, the hubris of you thinking you know what's best and you know what's going on. You might not know what's going on behind the scenes. And this is all for the highest good. So I'm really looking at this too from a perspective of, anywhere in the world where we think something is really dark or bad, you don't recognize that there's some kind of force that's using this as part of the metamorphosis of humanity, which is actually our last card in upright position, which is metamorphosis. So it's really an interesting kind of conversation that the cards are asking us to have, and they're more serious these days, I noticed, and some of you have noticed too. So encouragement is also in the protection position. So I'm going to read that out of the book. It's card 54. I know that you guys really like it when I read from the book, and then I can explain a little bit further. It helps you understand how to work with the cards a little bit better. So encouragement, it says, a misstep isn't the end of the world. You've fallen into a trap of false courage, right? And that's what these other ones are saying. You think you know what you're doing. You think you know everything. And only humility will lead you out of it, right? So it's saying, okay, wow, I may not know. I should be curious instead. I'm going to let the soul lead instead of my ego projections on what I think is going to happen. So that's really key. Perhaps you were not listening to your intuition and now you're in a jam. Being too self-reliant without knowing the ropes has brought you to this place. But don't become discouraged. All is well, because you can always start again, take another road, a high road, and surely discover how new territories where love really blooms. Love. Just remember to rely on your higher power. You can't always get what you want, but Spirit knows your needs. Something better waits around the corner. Now, this is assuming that we are still, I guess, globally in a state of a bit of, a kerfuffle. We're obviously coming up to the holidays. In America, they just had Thanksgiving. In Canada, we're just, enjoying the snowfall that's happened. And, everybody has their own experience around the world. Australia's in, I think, summer now. So wherever we're at, in terms of geography in the world, we're still at the same, if you will, mutual evolving state as we're human beings, part of this global world. So no matter where you live and no matter what's going on in your current conditions, there still is a sense of, we think we know what the next step is going to be. We think we know what the future holds for us, and we don't. And that's the thing. That's what's exciting about this, because we are co-creators, and we don't know what the future is going to hold, but we have a say. And our co-creative abilities are when we choose a particular way to feel, and we surrender that feeling over to Spirit, and we choose this potential out of the field, or if you will, the quantum field or Spirit, and we call the formless into form. We do that by being consistent around specific feelings like compassion and kindness and a sense of prosperity, even if we're looking at a crumb. Gratitude, which I believe is the abracadabra. So the card Metamorphosis is where all this leads us to, and that's about a transformative experience that, if you look at Metamorphosis, and I talk about the butterfly in all my workshops, and I always do this funny comical thing about it, the truth is that parts of us get sick when we are trying to, when the imaginal cells that live in us know that from a caterpillar we could become a butterfly and fly. But the process of going from that leaf-eating fuzziness to like, whee, I have wings, is crappy. We're having nightmares inside the cocoon because we're in between worlds. And if I had used the wisdom of the oracle cards, I'm sure that card would have come up. We are in between worlds, and we need to get comfortable with not knowing, but also with choosing a state of being that we could, again, practice every day, surrendering to Spirit, asking what is in the highest good, and not assuming we know what that highest good is. That's why we have to ask a higher power, because our ego selves are going to fight for dominance and control, and they're going to fight for what appears to be limited resources. When we come to the table with a separation worldview or disconnected worldview, that's what we're going to see, is disconnection and competition, etc. And we're going to project things onto the terrain in front of us based on our memory and our past experience and our fear, right? So now this is saying, let's make a shift around that. Let's not assume we know everything. Let's ask someone else how they feel. Let's reach across the table. Let's admit we don't have a map. Let's say, okay, if that's true, I can't, my higher power can, so I've got to get that partnership going. This is a call to a partnership with Spirit this week. And I think it's going to be a fantastic week, as long as we keep that in mind. That isn't that the best time to be alive? I talk about this through my entire book, Uncharted. This is the most exciting time to be alive, when we are walking into uncharted territory and we don't know the terrain. We can discover treasure there because it's hidden in plain sight for all of us, for everyone. And I know that to be true. Anyway, bless you, love you lots, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye. And if you like this video, subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. And hopefully they're going to get something out of it. Don't forget to leave a comment. Bye.
I've seen the future. It's beautiful.